I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 300. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends. We are looking at a new year. It is 2022. For those of you who are just checking in with me for the first time, this is actually my 5th year of podcasting, if you can believe that. So if you're just listening to this, please be aware that there are 299 other episodes if you need to catch up. For those of you who might have been listening for the last 5 years, thank you. And I really want to celebrate this podcast because it's number 300. It seems like, wow, that seems like a lot of episodes. And for me, I always made the commitment in the beginning. My first one was that I was going to commit to put out my philosophy every week, no matter what. And I got to tell you, in the beginning, when I first started doing this, it was so hard for me to put out a podcast. And I really like to think about this since what my topic today is appreciating yourself and loving yourself wherever you are right now. And what I'm discussing with you is how much I appreciate what I did for myself almost 5 years ago when I started this podcast. Because I got to tell you, the idea that I had to start a podcast and to be able to relate my philosophy of this thinner peace process and using menopause as this idea that it actually makes everything better and not worse, since I was in menopause at the time. And I believe that up until that point, once I had figured it all out for myself, I was kind of thinking menopause was like the end of it all. I wasn't a very happy camper. Now, this wasn't 5 years ago. When I started my podcast, I had already been doing my coaching for a while. I had already figured it out. And I was feeling pretty comfortable enough with my philosophy and having enough results that I really wanted to share it. And as much as I loved my message, I can't tell you how scary it was for me to put it out into the world because I had a lot of beliefs that nobody would listen, that people would think I was crazy, that I would get criticized, that people would say bad things about me, that I really didn't know what I was talking about. I got to tell you, I had more negative thoughts about me doing a podcast than I can tell you. And in the beginning, when I started my podcast, it would take me maybe 4 hours just to do one podcast, to write it out and put it out, because I was holding myself back so much because of all my negative thinking that I had to coach myself just to be able to write a podcast and then actually record it and then give it to my producer and then actually put it out. I got to tell you, it was a lot. But what I'm telling you right now is that I am so appreciative of myself and getting through my fear and managing my mind around that I am sitting here with this microphone talking to you after almost 5 years and 300 episodes. And now when I write a podcast, I can do it pretty quickly. You might have noticed. A lot of times I just come up with an idea and I start talking to you. And what I have found out about what my strengths are is that I am much better just talking and not planning as much. Some people are better planning and then talking, and some people are better talking before planning. And I used to be really down on myself, maybe 4.5 years ago, that once I found out, because it would take me maybe 4 hours to write and produce one podcast. And one time I just decided I had an idea and I just decided to go with it. And I put the microphone in front of my mouth. And this might have been maybe after my 30th episode. And I found out that it actually was better if I didn't plan too much what I was going to say, that the way my mind works is actually more just thinking off the cuff. And I want to impart that to you today because that's what I'm talking about 2022 for you is what if, now listen, I understand that you're all listening because you're probably in menopause. Maybe you're not liking where you are. Maybe you want to lose a lot of weight or a little weight or something. But most people, if you're listening to this, there's probably something that you think you need to change. And maybe you're thinking there's something wrong with you that you would like to make better in the new year. And I am going to do a little twist on my first podcast for 2022. And I'm going to twist it to this. What if for this year you started out with loving who you are and where you are and accepting the whole thing? And Byron Katie, her first book, and she is a mentor of mine and a teacher of mine, her first book was Loving What Is. And basically that whole book was the end of suffering. Your suffering is when you can accept and love what is going on, no matter what it is. And listen, I get that not everything that goes on we can quote unquote love. But if you're listening to this podcast and you want to lose weight and you're in menopause and you're thinking there's something wrong with you, I'm going to have you do a switch. And instead of thinking about how you can change when you're listening to me, I want you to start out this year and listen. I am going to give you new tools this year. I'm going to give you lots of new ideas. But I want you to start with there's nothing wrong with you. And you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, no matter where you are, because you are there. You can accept it or you can reject it. If you reject it, in Buddha philosophy, we always say, when you don't like what's going on, you will suffer. When you can't accept it, when you can't accept reality as it is, you will suffer. All of our suffering comes from our mind and wanting things to be different. So I want to start with today in 2022 with accepting the way things are, no matter how they are for you. I want you to be okay with it. It doesn't mean that things can't change. It just means that you're okay for now. And not only that, I want you to take a little step further. I know that there are a lot of teachers out there that talk about self-love and loving yourself. And I am all for that. I want you to love yourself. I want to love myself. But I want to say this, that a lot of us give ourselves these ideas that I'll love you when. I'll love you when you do this. I'll love you when you lose 20 pounds. I'll love you. I'll get you new clothes if you do this. It's like we set up all these ultimatums for ourselves, which takes us away from where we are in the moment. And this podcast is about being able to love where you are, no matter where it is, love where you've been, no matter where it's been, appreciate where you've been. That's what I was kind of talking about with my podcast. This is what kind of gave me the actual idea for this podcast, is I was thinking about how much I want to appreciate what I've done for myself so far. I mean, doing these podcasts is one of many things that I've done for myself. Switching careers. Man, let me tell you what, for those of you who are in your early 50s, I was there. My body was going through changes and I didn't want to be a chiropractor anymore. And I'm sitting here talking to you right now. I'm not a chiropractor anymore. I totally switched it around and created a brand new career in my late 50s. And it is the best career move I ever made in my whole life. And I didn't make it until I was almost in my 60s. And where are you right now? Like, whatever you're thinking, let me tell you, I said this in my last podcast, the best really is yet to come. And in order for the best is yet to come, you've got to believe that where you are is exactly where you need to be. And one of the things that I think is really, really helpful is being able to like who you are. I'm going to say love, but for a lot of you, I'm just going to start with like. And like what you see when you look in the mirror. Now, I don't know if you're anything like me, but whenever I look in the mirror, the first thing my brain, my primitive brain, wants to offer me is what is wrong with my appearance. And my gosh, if my brain doesn't find things for me every single time. Well, I gave myself a challenge. And the challenge is that from now on, when I look in the mirror, I am going to use my prefrontal cortex, not my primal brain that wants to find everything wrong with me and try to criticize everything and how I can be better, but how I'm fine just the way I am and that I'm beautiful just the way I am. I'm really talking about from a physical and emotional state of acceptance of that kind of a practice. So I have had a lot of teachers over the years, starting with Louise Hay, talk about mirror work, where can you look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. Now, it may be a stretch for some of you. So you might want to start with, I like you. But either way, it's not like, let me tell you what's wrong with you. I can't stand the way you look. I can't stand what's going to happen in my day. You're going to look at yourself and you're going to start with creating the feeling of love when you look at yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is to actually look into your own eyes for about a minute. And this is a little bit like a mantra like, but I still like it. Louise Hay was the queen of all of this, of affirmations. And as much as I talk about the mind and believing all the thoughts that you think, sometimes I think for those of you who are listening to me, that you have to practice something for a while for your mind and body to catch on. And because I think loving and accepting yourself where you are right in this moment and really being able to wrap yourself around it maybe is the best way to help yourself get more of what you want in 2022. Instead of thinking there's something wrong with you, start looking with what's right for you. Instead of thinking what's wrong with you physically, start looking at what's right about you physically. There was this research that was done, and I don't even have it enough that I can even tell you what it is, but I remember it so vividly when I saw it because it was on YouTube. And it was done by some researchers. And what they were trying to show is that the way that we see things with our eyes is not really a visual thing. It's not like our eyes see something and we see it. Our eyes actually see things through the perception of our own brain. So really, we see things with our eyes according to the way our brain thinks. So they did this research project, and I'm going to try and tell it to you as much as I can remember it, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. And I've used this with a lot of my clients because I have a lot of clients that look at themselves in the mirror just like me and think, what's wrong with you? And of course, hire Dr. Deb so we can stop having anything wrong with us and we'll lose all the weight. And no, 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 no. This is what I'm saying for 2022. You can still hire me. But what Dr. Deb is going to help you do is love and accept yourself as you are in order to help yourself get anything that you want. If it's better health, if it's a stronger, fitter body, but doing it from a place of what's right and why you love yourself and not what's wrong with you. In other words, start with love and end with love. Don't use it as an ultimatum. If you do it, then I will love you. So here is this research project. What they did is they took some people, and I can't even say who they are anymore. I'm just going to say that there are some researchers. And what they did is they took some people and they wanted to show them this video of a basketball game. And in the basketball game, what they wanted their participants to do is to tell them how many baskets this one team made. So that was what the job was for the participants. So the participants watched this video and then they came back and told them how many baskets. Now, here's the clincher. In the middle of this video game, they had a person dressed up as a gorilla walk through the basketball game. Now, I want to ask you this. How many people do you think saw this crazy person dressed up as a gorilla walk through the basketball game? You know how many it was? 0. Nobody saw the gorilla because they were intent on trying to figure out how many baskets the basketball team was making. They didn't see it. And that is the point that I'm saying to you right now. You see what you're looking for. They were looking for how many baskets. That's what their mind saw. And I say mind because you think the eyes would see everything, but the eyes were almost blinded by the brain. Like, how can you miss this gorilla walking through a basketball game? Everybody did because they weren't told to look. Now, this is what I'm going to say to you for 2022. I want you to look for your own beauty. I want you to believe that you have beauty. I want you to accept everything that's going on in your life right now, whether you like it or you don't. And I want you to love yourself or like yourself no matter what. So that means you're going to go, maybe look in the mirror once a day, spend a minute, stare into your eyes, and just repeat, I love you. Like for me, it's I love you, Deb, for whatever your name is. And if you can't go to I love, you can go to I like. But I would practice the love because you know how to love people that you love. There are people in your life that you love. You need to practice loving you like that. You need to be able to point your mind where you want it, which is to look for the beauty of you. You want to become more beautiful? Start with loving the beauty that you see, that you can see that it's already there. As Byron Katie says, loving what already is the beginning to anything else that you want. Anything. So what's the practice for 2022? No, it's not about changing you and trying to make you more right or more acceptable. No, you're going to start 2022 with loving yourself just as you are and practice seeing that beautiful you in the mirror. Practice it until you can actually feel it. Because just like the people in that basketball game, they gave their mind a job and their mind did it for them and missed everything else. Give your mind the job of seeing your own beauty in your own life and appreciating all that you have done for you in your life. Go back in your past and look at all the beauty that you've done and all the things that you've created. If you want to go back in the past, that's a good way to go back. It's like, oh my God, I was amazing and I am amazing. I can't even believe all the things that I did, which is what I'm telling you right now. I can't believe when I look back, some of the things that I had the chutzpah to actually do. Like, who was I to believe I could have a brand new career when people were retiring? Thank goodness I thought it. Thank goodness I was passionate enough to believe that I could do something different and that I could make such a difference in people's lives more than I ever could before as a chiropractor. I want you to believe that for yourself. You know, as I get older, I do see my own beauty more. So a lot of people say, well, as you get older, blah, 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 blah. But I want you to believe it as you get older and you get wiser and you point your mind to look for your own beauty, you will see it and you will love it. And the only reason you haven't seen it up till now isn't because you haven't lost weight. It's because you haven't been able to look. You've been pointing your mind in the wrong direction. You've been looking for the baskets that the basketball player is making, and you didn't see the thing that was right in front of them, the gorilla. And for you, it's going to be the beauty of your own face right in the mirror. You're going to point it and you're going to start practicing. And then you're going to learn to believe all these beautiful things about you. And if you think that'll help you get more of what you want in 2022, I promise you it is the answer to everything. You start where you are, you love who you are, you appreciate where you've been, and sweetheart, 2022 is all yours. So that's what I have for you today for the first week of 2022. And let me tell you right now, I have lots of new things for you. And for those of you who have been thinking about wanting to work with me, thinking about it, because usually when I talk to somebody in the mini session, they've been thinking about it for a while. Hey, it's the new year. If this is something that you've been thinking about and this is something that you would love to do and you would love to work with me, I offer you the ability to have a consultation with me and find out if the process that I use, which part of the process is loving where you are and loving who you are, that is part of the process. That is part of the Thinner Peace process. You can go to drdebbutler.com/work with me, and you can set up a consultation and find out if what I have to offer, if I can help you too, because that's what I'll tell you in this consultation, if I can help you or not. And of course, before I end this podcast, my first podcast of 2022, one thing never changes. No matter where else you go, and no matter what else you do, please, my dear sweethearts all over the world, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you've been following my podcast and you're loving all the tools that I teach you, but you're just not sure that you can do it or apply it by yourself, then please go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. And you can find out if the program that I do and the coaching that I do will help you get to where you want to be, to learn all the tools that I teach and be able to make it a part of your life. Just go to drdebbutler.com/work with me. You can set up a free 30-minute mini session.